Hey there, folks. Mr. Finley here. This is Ethan Atkinson.
Hello.
He graduated a few years ago, and he'll be coming into work. Well, this might be used in future years as well. He'll be coming in to be working with some of our classes this year. He's worked as our technical director. This is a quick survey of just the types of tools that we're going to be using in the Tech Theater class, so you know their names, you know some very basics about them. We'll be going over safety in a separate video because that is important. So we're just going to work our way clockwise around the table. This is the drill. This is the most important thing, I think, really, that you'll be making use of.
That is an impact driver, but it's the same thing.
Okay, yeah, well, it has a thing.
It has a thing.
Some things to keep in mind. So I'm going to come over here.
Oh, I was just tightening up.
That's fine. The head that you will be using most frequently is this one with a little star. It's a 6-pointed star, not the 4-point of a Phillips head.
T25.
Thank you. T25, apparently. We use this because we do a lot of manufacture with wood, and the screws that are star driven in that way are easiest when you're doing wood construction like that. Also notice, this may seem obvious, but there are two arrows here. One arrow points forward. If the button's pushed on that side, it will drive the screw in. On the other side, there's an arrow that points backward. If it's pushed in on that side, it will take the screw out. Similarly, there is a trigger here. Most of the drills that we use are actuated by pressure here, so if you pull back just a little bit, it spins just a little bit. If you pull back all the way, it goes very, very fast. You don't want to do that. Much of using a screwdriver is feeling, and this just, you develop this feel over a long time, how much pressure and how much torque you need to drive it in. You don't want too much, you don't want too little. Finally, there's a battery on the bottom. If you're using one that has a battery at the end of the class, you're always going to want to charge it and plug it in. Many of the ones that we use just plug straight into the wall. So this is the tool that you will use most. Everyone thinks, oh, that's easy, I know how to use that one. It takes a lot of finesse to use this. Well, I set up here. Anything else you want to add to that, Ethan?
Corded drills, there's a difference between corded and battery drills. So corded drills are going to take a while to spin up, and they'll have a lot less finesse. So when you pull the trigger, you've got to be pushed tight. You can't slow it down. It takes a while to stop. Corded drills, bit finickier.
Yeah, and we use primarily corded drills in class.
Might want to fix that.
Oh, we'll work on it. This case has various drill bits. When you're not using this to drive in screws, you may be using this to drive pilot holes to later put a screw into a piece of wood. For that, you'd use one of these very fine drill pieces. I feel like I'm on like the Home Shopping Network.
You are. I'd buy this.
You might. I know you would. I know you have.
I have.
Some
of better.
That. Yeah. No. Yes, it's true. And then you have these like massive drill bits for
spade bits.
Drilling like inch-wide holes. That you will use those certainly less frequently, but they will get used as necessary. There's also some additional drill bits, Phillips head, that kind of thing. Those
and an extension.
Here. Yes, an extension. Tell us what that is used for.
If you need to get your
leave it
bit,
open.
Leave it open. If you need to get your bit further down into an area, let's say you're countersinking the screw so it's further down into the wood, you would use an extension so that the head of the drill isn't just hitting on whatever you're trying to drive into.
Absolutely. And that will absolutely happen when you're making furniture, all those kinds of things.
As well, these here are masonry bits for going into stone and concrete. You should never use those.
Yes, no, we should never have. Everything that we do is going to be wood construction. That's why the floor of the theater is wood construction as well. So just moving around here. So this is C-clamp. We use these frequently, both to hold together pieces of wood as we are screwing them together, as well as to reinforce. If we have two platforms next to each other, usually one of these will go underneath and be clamped to hold them together. So this is a clamp. This is also a clamp. These are two different things. It's a C-clamp. These kind of clamps, sorry.
Squeeze clamp, yes. Or quick clamp,
yes.
Either one.
And we only use these for one purpose. These are used to hold together the masking curtains, the black masking curtains. They are supposed to have these little plastic little nubbins on them. Many of the nubbins have been taken off by idiot
Heathens.
students. Yes. And unfortunately, that means that this metal can sometimes tear the current. So you want to make sure that you've got little plastic nubbins on them, and that's what these are for. You never use these for anything else. This is, I think, the most terrifying object that we frequently use. This is a pair of bolt. Yes, that I use. Yes, there's much more frightening stuff down here. This is a pair of bolt cutters.
Very nice.
This is to cut through steel and cable. Yeah, we never even took that tag off of them. They are incredibly, because you have
massive
leverage here, they're incredibly dangerous in terms they can cut through basically anything. So again, specifically only using these if you're cutting chain, and then only if there's a specific job that requires it. This is not a tool that you will frequently
Do not stick your fingers in there.
Yeah, we'll talk about this in safety, but for the love of all that's holy, don't do that.
Common sense. Don't point that at anyone.
Yes. Speaking of, this is a staple gun. Again, don't point it at anyone. It's supposed to be actuated so you can only use it when you're pushing down, but who knows if that actually works. Again, just like the drill, it needs a great deal of pressure, and then the staples in. You will be using this a lot. The staples are put in a slightly different way. You pull down on a tab here that pulls this back.
And the staples fall out.
And then the staples get dropped into this channel here. So it's not like you put them on top of the bar and then the bar goes in like that.
Is that an arrow?
Okay. And then on the front, this little thing here, this is used to remove staples. You slide it into the staple, and then you can use leverage to pull it out. Yeah, like so. We use this a lot to staple floor treatments to the floor. This is a paint tray. When we're painting, as we do a lot, we put the paint into this. This is a paint frame. A cylindrical sponge goes here. You pull it through the paint, and then you apply the paint to the surface. So tray, frame, know that terminology.
Roller frame.
Yes.
Same. Well, the sponge.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is a hammer. Specifically, this is a ball peen hammer.
Very small ball peen. We have larger ones as well.
I saw. You
Should I retrieve?
Hammer of death. I think we'll be okay. Do you have a claw hammer down here?
Absolutely we do.
Fantastic.
Where's Charleston?
See, I was looking for it, and I didn't see it.
Speaking of which, where is?
Hammers, again, for driving things, nails, tacks, that kind of thing. Claw hammer had a little claw on the other side. You use leverage to pull out nails and things. You've probably seen one of those. Again, it doesn't take a doctoral degree to use it, but you don't want to be swinging it around. Basic safety stuff.
This is similar. It's a tack hammer, but there's your claw, hitting face.
Absolutely. Two different types of screwdrivers. Flathead screwdriver and the much more versatile Phillips head screwdriver. Again, you want to match your screwdriver to the screw. You never want to try to, as I have frequently done, to drive a Phillips head screw. Phillips head just means it's got this little X or plus shaped head on it. You never want to try and drive one of those with a flat head screwdriver or vice versa.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Yes, indeed. Pair of pliers, again, for gripping things. It is adjustable, can be made wider or smaller. Speaking of gripping things, this is a Crescent Wrench. It is adjustable using this little worm gear here at the bottom. So you want to make sure you always adjust it to the appropriate size. This is what you primarily use when you are moving lights around on the grid to make sure that the clamps are tight enough there.
Please do not drop it on your actors.
Yes, indeed. In fact, typically, you use, if you're up on the ladder, you use tie line to tie it to your belt loop so it never drops that far. We'll talk about that. This is one of the cooler things that we have. This is chalk line. Within this container, there is very, very fine chalk and string. If it ever runs out of that chalk, that's what this is, and you just open it up and you squeeze it in there. It's almost like a liquid, it's so fine. But what's so great about, that's brilliant, thank you. What's great about chalk line is if you need a, sorry, opened the wrong thing. If you need a straight line, you just take it.
I've mothered it.
You drag it across, say the floor, whatever surface, and then you just go like this.
Snap it.
And then there is a perfectly straight line. Straight lines
are important.
They are maybe the most important thing that we do because everything has to line up properly, both for aesthetic purposes and also for safety purposes. Things are built typically at right angles to one another. So if you just try and freehand a line, it is not going to be straight, and therefore the whole set is going to be off. Which leads to perhaps the most important tool. This is a ruler.
Would you like a tape measure as well?
Yeah, if you can grab one. There's an old saying, you've heard it a million times, measure twice, cut
No.
once.
We're on like 4 times now. Measure 5 or 6.
Measure 5 or 6 times. Cut once. This is vital. Excellent. So we also have a tape measure. Much longer. This typically requires around the other edge. You always want to make sure you are accurate in your measuring. We'll do a measuring workshop because it is so vital. Because if things aren't measured properly, it doesn't even matter. We have also here.
This is a right angle square.
Again, because much of what we build has to be a right, and then we have
A speed square.
yes, which we will make a great deal of use of, because using a speed square, you can mark out different angles besides just the right angle.
Fit
as
this
well.
flush against your edge. Mark your 45. Mark your straight. Different angles.
Excellent. It's sort of like a protractor for building.
Very useful.
Again, in terms of getting things to be right angles, this is a spirit level. You actually have one of these on your phone. If you have an Apple iPhone, has one. But it gives you, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's in your pocket already. And it gives you the opportunity, by balancing where the little bubble is in the tube of liquid, to make sure that it's completely right, angles completely straight and flush. So you'll be making use of that a lot as well. The last thing I'll talk about, and I think we'll do power tools in a separate video that is getting just a little longer, are these last 2 things here. This is tape. You may think, oh, tape's tape. No.
Nope.
Tape has very specific purposes when it comes to theater. This type is wide painter's tape. Painter's tape is usually this color of blue or green. It is used because you can put it on a surface and then take it very cleanly off that surface, and it is not absorbent. So you can paint right up to that edge, take it off, and then you have a clean paint line. So whenever we're
It
painting,
also won't bleed through and leaves no residue.
exactly. So you will be making use of painter's tape a great deal. Not to be confused with masking tape. It's just regular old masking tape. It's much similar, but it can absorb a little bit more, and it can leave a residue behind. So you don't want to use regular masking tape when you're supposed to be using painter's tape.
Masking tape is good for removable labels, marks for actors, leaving notes.
Yep. The prop master will use that.
Yep.
This is black duct tape. Duct tape is very useful. It's very powerful tape. It's very powerful adhesive, but it will leave behind a great deal of residue, and it will get stuck to itself. So even though the joke is all problems can be fixed with duct tape, you actually, and typically you can tear it.
Well, fix, but not fix the greatest.
Yes, exactly. You can typically tear it along the grain there. But you want to use it judiciously. But the most important piece of tape is this. It's called spike tape. It comes in very narrow rolls. This is white. It comes in all kinds of colors. This is a $30 roll of tape. And the reason for this is that spike tape is sort of infinitely movable and very, very durable. So at the beginning of a rehearsal process, you will spike out all of the locations on the set. You will tape it out, an outline on the floor, so the actors can rehearse in that space, and they know where the walls are because there's a piece of spike tape there. They'll know where the couch is because there's a piece of spike tape there. And those are called spikes, the positions on the floor where those go. So this is just a quick overview of all the sort of tools. There's a few other tools that you may end up using, but these are the ones that you'll be using every day. So know the names of these, know their basic purposes, and then we'll start using them. In a separate video, we'll take a look at power tools and safety. Thanks.